In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how easy it is to whip up cute little gift bags for Valentine's Day with a clear heart window that we're going to make out of a page protector. You can use scraps of fabric of any kind of print. You're going to need something to tie it closed. I'm using a little bit of rickrack. You can use ribbon, embroidery floss, whatever you want. The little heart template, and you can get that for free. Just look for the link below. 2 pieces of fabric, 4.5 by 7 inches. And then you can either use pinking shears or a pinking rotary blade. You're going to need some clips, scissors to cut the page protector. Do not use your fabric scissors on that. Then we're going to need some fabric scissors and a little bit of Scotch tape. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the heart out of one of our pieces of fabric. So we're going to fold that in half and just finger press it. We don't want it to stay folded, but we need to be able to cut our heart out. Then I'm going to fold the heart in half as well. I'm going to put the bottom point 1.5 inches up from the bottom, and the fold of the heart is on the fold of the fabric. Now you could pin that on there, but because it is so small, I usually don't, and hearts are forgiving. I just hold it with my thumb, and then you're going to take some fabric scissors and cut around that shape. Okay, now we have a heart cut out, and you have a heart left over for another project. I'll just put that to the side. Next, we need to work on our clear window. That's what's going to let the person receiving this gift see what's inside, candy or something else. I cut the page protector into about 3-inch strips. You don't have to be super precise because we are going to trim it after it's sewn on there. So it's about a 3-inch square. And you can place it over top of your heart just to make sure it's going all the way over those edges. And if you're going to be making a bunch of these, I would say just cut your page protector into as many of those squares as you can and have them at the ready. Just mass produce. Cut your fabrics, cut your hearts, cut your squares. Next, we are going to place the plastic square right on top of that fabric on the wrong side. This is a solid, so there's really no right or wrong. But if you do have a print, you want to tape the plastic on the wrong side of the fabric. And I usually just put 2 little pieces of tape just to hold that in place. Now we're going to take it to the sewing machine and stitch around the heart opening. I've tried this both ways, and I have found the easiest way to get it sewn pretty well around that heart is to put the plastic on the bottom and the fabric opening on the top. Then you're just going to want to sew pretty close, and I'm just going to sew about 1/8 of an inch from that edge. I'm also going to be using a small stitch length, 1.5, so that we're going to have our best results sewing on that curve. And just go slowly, and if you need to pick your presser foot up and move it to get the curve, then just keep doing that. I want to show you these 2 examples. This is the first one that I did, and I used a contrasting thread, but I didn't like how you could really see that it wasn't as perfectly straight around the edges of that heart. So now I use a coordinating thread, so it isn't as obvious. I'm not going to worry about it not being super precise because, again, this is just a quick gift bag with a window. It's not one that is going to be an heirloom, and I don't think anybody is going to really examine your stitching. If you want to try and be a lot more accurate, you go for it, but I'm going for quick. Now I'm just going to take scissors, not fabric scissors, just regular scissors, and I'm going to trim off some of this plastic. Probably isn't necessary, but I just feel like a little less of that plastic in there is going to make the bag more supple. Now we're going to put these right sides together, and I'm going to have the side with the window on top. I'm going to line it up on the markings of my board, and I'm going to put a little mark 1/2 inch down from the top. We only want to sew to 1/2 inch from the top since we're going to be using pinking shears to trim the top so that it's super quick. Now I'm just going to put a few clips. So we're going to sew the 2 sides and the bottom, making sure that we start and stop at those marks that we made 1/2 inch from the top. Can you believe it? We are almost done. Now I'm just going to use pinking shears or this pinking rotary cutter and trim all the way around all 4 sides. It's going to prevent large frays like this inside the candy bag, and then it's also going to make the top really cute and finished without having to do a lot of work. So let me show you how each of these works. These are just regular pinking shears, so it's going to give a triangular shape. I'm just going to cut straight across the top. If you haven't seen these before, these are my favorite. They're by Fiskars. They're really easy on your thumb. I think they're called Easy Action Pinking Shears, and I will have a link below the video if you want to get a pair of those. I do use these a lot when I'm clipping corners and other projects. But you can also get a rotary blade that is wavy. And so it does the same basic thing. But it's going to cut more of a wavy shape than the triangular shape, but it is going to prevent fraying. So what I do is I put my ruler down just over that stitch line because I want to make sure I don't slip and cut my stitching. And then just like a regular rotary blade, we're just going to cut, and it's getting a little bit dull to get a new one. So see, it's triangular there and wavy on this side, but the rotary cutter, especially when it's nice and sharp, mine's older, is so fast. You never want to leave all that fuzz on your mat because you don't want it to get into the grooves. That will make your mat last as long. Now we're going to turn it right side out and just try not to crumple the plastic too much. You want to do most of the turning from the fabric side that doesn't have the plastic because it will wrinkle a teeny bit. See, it gets some little bends, but nobody is going to notice it when they're looking through that window at whatever is inside. So let me know in the comments what you would put in a little gift bag like this. I am going to grab these little fun-size candies. 6 fit in there really nicely. The reason this heart has to be down and not really centered is because you need to have room to pinch this and tie it shut and still have the heart shape, because if it was down too low, it would start to warp the heart window. I cut about 8 inches of rickrack, and I'm just going to tie that. You could just do a single or a double knot. Rickrack doesn't tie in a bow very well. If you want a bow, I would recommend using ribbon of some sort. Then I'm just going to take my scissors, trim those ends a little bit, and voila. It's done. You can do these in 10 minutes or less once you get started. And if you wanted to do a bunch, as I said, you can just mass produce, cut all your fabrics, cut all of your plastic squares, cut your rickrack, and just get sewing. So I hope this is a fun activity or little gift bag for you to make for Valentine's Day. I would love to know who you're going to give these to, how you're going to use them. Or is it going to be for a school party, for coworkers, for kids, grandkids? Let me know in the comments. I love to know how people use different projects that I post. And be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. If you love projects like this,